Well, 'tis the season for giving and spending, as Aussies are set to buy more Christmas gifts this year, despite the cost of living crisis and rising interest rates. According to new research, retailers across the country will see a near $70 billion boost in sales in the 6 weeks leading up to the big day, with half of Australians having already bought gifts by November.
The purchasing predictions come with concern from experts, as 7.7 million Aussies went into debt over the last festive period.
So for more, we're joined by 7 News presenter Gemma Acton. Hello, Gemma.
Hello.
Just how much more are Aussies going to be spending, and what's driving the people to the shops a little earlier this year?
We are just 2 weeks out now from the Black Friday shopping festival, which coincides with the US Thanksgiving holiday. So once that kicks off, we go straight into pre-Christmas sales, and then to Boxing Day sales, and then to New Year's sales. So we have this frenzy for the next 2 months of sales. But as you mentioned at the start, $70 billion extra expected to be spent just over the next 6 weeks.
What will the impact of this increased spending be on the retail sector as a whole? Can it be beneficial in any way, or are the bricks and mortar places dreading this time?
No, they love this time. We have been in a cost of living crisis for a few years now, and we've got really canny about how we can make our money go further. So we're spending less, we are substituting where we can, and we are really good now about waiting for discounts and sales. So this is the time of year when many retailers make a great chunk of their overall sales for the year. For some retailers, this particular period is make or break. If they don't have a bumper Christmas season in the run-up to Christmas, then it might be all over. So very important time ahead for many retailers.
Yeah, and spend locally, maybe.
Spend locally, it's great if you can. Yeah.
It's been estimated $921 million worth of presents from last year. They weren't worn, they weren't used. 800,000 people are still carrying debt from last Chrissy. So maybe, rethink? Maybe a bit of a rethink?
Yeah, so that $921 million came from more than 6 million Australians saying they haven't used gifts that they got before, which is just a staggering amount. Not just a waste of money, it's a waste of time thinking about what you're going to buy people, trudging around the shops. Terrible for the environment. On top of that, you're buying wrapping paper and gift cards. And it's just embarrassing. If someone gives you something you really don't want, especially if you know they're going to check up on whether you're actually using it or wearing it, it sends a bit of a shiver down your spine. What do I do with this thing to get rid of it? So there's absolutely something to be said for being much more thoughtful. We, in our family, used to all give everyone a present. Last year was the first year we did a Kris Kringle, so we all just gave one person. And it worked out really well. I could be a lot more thoughtful and actually a bit more generous because it was just one person I had to think about.
OK, let's stick with the spending trends now. The cheap import sites will be the big winners over Christmas. What exactly are we buying from sites like Temu? What is it? Shein? What is it? Shein, Temu and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so they already are massive winners. If we look back over the last year, around 3.8 million Australians bought something on Temu and around 2 million bought something on Shein. So a lot of people are using them now. Still not really buying Christmas presents there. We're much more likely to buy decorations for the house, or if we're having a Christmas gathering, the bits and bobs you might need for that, or outfits for holidays or for parties. So not really presents yet, but certainly people are using them to buy more and more things. Some people do have ethical concerns because there are question marks raised over labour practices, but for many Australians, they're just really looking for value wherever they can find it.
Sure, and you get that, right? You do understand
very cheap.
Yeah, but it makes it hard for the retailers here at home.
It certainly does.
Let's move on from Christmas. Young Aussie workers could be missing out on thousands of dollars by the time they hit retirement. What's this all about?
So if you're under 18 and you work fewer than 30 hours a week, you don't actually get super. Pretty much everyone else does. That rule was brought in for the right reasons a long time ago when super was only 3% of pay. These days, super's 11.5% of pay. So the fear was, back when it was only 3%, you'd be paying so much in fees that it would completely outweigh the benefits of having super. But now we're in a very different situation. Actually, it's pretty valuable to have some super. If you're 18, it compounds over the next few decades to be worth many thousands more. So it's just something to keep an eye out for.
OK. Can we talk about flight fees? They're in the spotlight after a woman who used a nickname to book a flight was then charged $2,000 to change the name on her ticket. That's an incredible fee, but you probably shouldn't be doing that anyway. Like if Kylie used K-Dog...
No, it
was more like if I used Gem instead of Gemma. So clearly the same.
My husband's
name.
Anthony, but he's Tony. Does that make sense? That's what it means by a nickname.
Exactly.
OK.
But there are a couple of interesting things to take away from this. First thing I would say is this was an American consumer with an American airline, importantly, so that didn't happen to somebody here.
Right.
But I read a lot of the comments and messages and feedback online from different forums. A lot of people had similar experiences where they used Tony instead of Anthony, etc. The differences were enormous in terms of what happened. Some people had very long-winded, multi-week trying to get things changed and cost them hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Other people got it sorted out in 10 minutes for free. So, should you contest it? You absolutely should. If you're getting an answer you don't really like, if they're trying to charge you a terrible fee, being unreasonable, if it's taking a long time, just try again. See if you get a different response, or ask to speak to the manager.
All right. Thank you, Gigi. Thanks, Kate. Good stuff.